Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. We got some Broncos news to cover on today's show. A bit of a late piece coming out, but some good storylines out there. We'll start things off by looking at the latest free agency news coming out of Doe Valley at Mile High. Broncos tweeting out, we've signed tight end Eric Saubert to a one-year deal. Welcome back to Broncos country. So, Saubert, who's been a bit of a journeyman, a former fifth-round pick, went to the same college my dad went to, Drake, in Des Moines, Iowa. So, let's show him a nice welcome back to Broncos country. Type 82. Let him feel the love. Let him know that we're happy to see him back on the roster. Put his jersey number down below in the comments section. Saubert's never been a player who's been a deep threat target as a tight end. In his career, which started with the Falcons, or was with the Falcons before coming over to Denver, he's bounced around all over in a short career since coming into the league back in 2017. 132 yards and 1 touchdown. He's a blocking tight end, third tight end on the depth chart, fourth tight end. But ultimately, this is a training camp / depth move. You know, this is Peyton going, we just drafted a tight end in Greg Dulcich. Let's get some more competition. I'm looking for 3-4 tight ends on my roster. I've got some open spots, so why don't we bring back a familiar face who knows the playbook already? I know it's a new regime with Hackett, but still, it's a little easier bringing someone back who was on your roster a year ago than finding a brand new guy in the block who you're not asking to be tight end 1. You're asking not to screw up. And when you're tight end 3, that's the job. And a good way not to screw up is to have some familiarity with the organization already. I want to ask this off-the-wall question. Who will lead the Broncos in touchdowns in 2022? Could it be Jerry Jeudy after not having a single touchdown last season? Or Javonte Williams? He's got Melvin Gordon back, which is going to kind of limit him a little bit. It's not good for fantasy owners. It's not. You can't say Russell Wilson. We're talking like rushing or receiving. Let me know what your predictions are in the comment section. I will go with Jerry Jeudy. I think Jeudy, who, by the way, congratulations, had a child a couple weeks ago. That's why he wasn't at that first shindig with Russell Wilson at his place in California. But I'll say Jerry Jeudy, 0 last year, double digits in 2022. Now, what about some other Broncos free agents? Well, Bryce Callahan late last night signed with the LA Chargers, in case you missed that. So he's following the former footsteps of Chris Harris, who went from Denver to San Diego at the time, and now it's the same kind of path for Callahan. Mike Kliss tweeted this out last night, and honestly, I had to read it like 5 times, and I still don't think I fully understand what it means, but I said, maybe you can explain to me. Broncos free agents officially asked not to re-sign, which is a weird wording. Bryce Callahan, Cam Fleming, Kyle Fuller, Justin Hamilton, A.J. Johnson, Brett Jones, Bobby Massey, Eric Saubert, who just did resign, Shamar Stephen, and Kenny Young. Basically, what this actually means is that they're holding out after the draft and waiting later on, so it doesn't mess with their comp picks next year. Because if Denver re-signs some of these players, well, the guys they lost in free agency this year, that kind of negates their comp picks for 2023. Something Peyton doesn't want to lose out on. So that's what this means in English. I think Johnson and Kenny Young potentially not coming back would be a bit of a surprise. I mean, I responded to Kliss saying these are the 2 surprising names that I would be a little interested of. Why doesn't Peyton want one of these guys back? You know, I get not bringing back Josie Jewell, Johnson, and Kenny Young at a position that's kind of devalue. You know, it's going down the shitter. But give me a name of who you'd like to see the Broncos re-sign. Kliss put out a handful of names. If it's one of those guys, works for me. Or if it's a big splashy name. If you want to see Denver go get Julio Jones, you know, and really put this wide receiver room over the edge, that works too. So let me know who you'd like to see the Broncos go out and sign now that the NFL draft is in the books. We'll get back on to the latest Broncos free agency news in just a moment, but I want to welcome everyone that subscribed to the channel over the last week or so. During the NFL draft, we picked up hundreds of subscribers, so if you're new, turn your notifications on. Click that bell icon and then click all. That way when the Broncos, sign tight end 3, or they trade for someone like Russell Wilson, whatever it may be, because you can't put it past George Payton for making some big moves, you're going to want to stay in the know. You're going to want to get that noti from us here at the Broncos Breakdown going, breaking news, Broncos blank. Hit that bell icon, turn your notifications on. That way you stay in the know. We were talking about linebackers, though, and this is what I meant by a bit of a surprise to not bring Johnson or Kenny Young. Listen, I don't have much faith in Alex Singleton and Josie Jewell being your inside linebacker duo. I get it that Evero, the DC, coming over from LA, is not going to run a ton of formations and packages that calls for 3 linebackers. And you're seeing a lot of teams, by the way, go into this new trend, which is, can we get more DBs on the field? I mean, it's a nightmare for Brett Favre, who didn't know what a nickel defense was until his second or third year into the league. But you're seeing more and more teams put 3 safeties on the field, put an extra DB on the field, take a linebacker off, go with speed over size, and not worry so much about getting run-stopping linebackers between the hash marks. That's just not the trend that the NFL is going. It's going in opposite. This is a copycat league. You're seeing lots of teams do what other teams did, and this is what the Rams did last year. That's why they got rid of Kenny Young to the Broncos middle of the season, because they didn't need an extra linebacker, and ultimately helped to win a Super Bowl. Next up on today's show, the Broncos are going across the pond. They will be playing in their second ever game in London this upcoming season, October 30th, 2022. The NFL schedule has not been announced. That comes out May 12th. But it's going to be a 7:30 a.m. kickoff Mountain Time. Kind of sucks, not going to lie. I mean, kegs and eggs in the morning for anyone watching. You can watch it, by the way, on ESPN+. Yeah, ESPN, they are not letting you find another way to watch this game unless you got that subscription. It's a road game for Denver, which means it's not going to count as a Broncos home game. No, the Jags, who struggle filling up TIAA Bank Stadium, this is their home game, but who else remembers the last time Denver played in London? You got to go back a decade plus, 2010. Kind of a noteworthy game. It was a 24-16 loss to the San Francisco 49ers, but that was Josh McDaniels' the beginning of the end for him. He was caught cheating. Remember, he had an assistant coach film the 49ers practice the couple days before the game, and then a week later, Josh McDaniels was fired. Hopefully Hackett doesn't do that. Hopefully he just has his camera guy hang out in the pub, drink some warm beer, not get caught cheating. I think that would work pretty well for me, something I'd be a part of. But let's just end the show on a bit of a across-the-pond question. Do you like fish and chips? I think they're extremely overrated. In fact, I've never heard anyone in their life say, I'm craving British cuisine. Put that up in one of the world's most useless cuisines ever. Who has ever come home and said, could go for Chinese? You know what really hit the spot? British cuisine and Guinness. No. I'll put N for no. I'd rather have chicken tenders and fries every single day of the week. Their best thing would not even crack the top 10 of menu items in the U.S. It's disastrous. That and their lack of dentistry over there. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. I'll see you guys later with more Broncos news and rumors.